Dexter all day. Well, guess what? The time has come. I'm going to give you a little hint. There might be some people backstage, so let's let them hear how excited you are about the Dexter panel. All right. So this is a big panel, so we're going to roll right into it. So at this time, it is my pleasure to introduce the moderator, Ralph Garman.
Please silence all cell phone.
I'm a ventriloquist. Everyone, thanks so much for coming out as we celebrate, in my opinion, one of the best written, best acted, best produced shows on television, Dexter. It's been my honor to moderate this panel for the past couple of years, and it's always a pleasure. However, this year's a little bittersweet because not only are we here to celebrate Dexter, but we're here to say goodbye. As we're into the final season of Dexter, well, I can tell how you feel about it. Let's take a look at a piece of film that shows you how the people who brought you Dexter for all these years, how they feel about saying goodbye. Before we get a chance to say goodbye to the folks who brought you Dexter for 8 wonderful years, I do want to mention, and this is good news, that the final season that we're all currently watching will be available on DVD and Blu-ray on November the 5th. You can pick up the final season. Not only is that the release date for the final season, but the good news is they're also releasing Dexter, the complete series on November the 5th. As you can imagine, it's a very special release, and it is being delivered in a very special way. There's a special collectible box set of the series that comes, well, I think we can show a picture of it. Yeah. Sort of a tribute to Dexter's trophy case. Comes with a book, The Art of Dexter, as well as a bonus disc with a lot of great extra stuff. And it does come as the blood slide box. And then also an exclusive deal on Amazon.com on November 5th. The Blu-ray complete series will be packaged like this. I do not suggest taking a baseball bat to that head the way Dexter does. It will ruin your Blu-rays, that's for sure. All right, let's celebrate Dexter by taking a look back, since we're talking about the complete series coming out on DVD and Blu-ray. If Dexter was a musical act, we would listen to the greatest hits right now. But since Dexter does what he does, let's take a look at some of the greatest kills in Dexter history. Complete series of Dexter available for pre-order right now if you want to take care of that. I ordered mine this morning. Now we get a chance to give our thanks and show some love to this wonderful group of people who provided us with so much entertainment over the past 8 years. We have the creators and cast of Dexter and a few special surprise guests, so let's get right to it. Starting with the executive producer of Dexter. Please give a warm welcome to Ms. Sarah Carlton. Dexter's showrunner and executive producer, Mr. Scott Buck. Executive producer, Manny Cotto. Former showrunner for Dexter from the first 4 years and executive producer, Mr. Clyde Phillips. Please welcome Jamie Batista from the show, Amy Garcia. Babysitters never looked like that when I was a kid. Please welcome also to his very first Comic-Con, so give him the appropriate welcome, Joseph Quinn, Mr. Desmond Harrington. And now the heart and soul of Miami Metro, in my opinion, Angel Batista, Mr. David Zayas. She plays Hannah McKay on Dexter. Please welcome Yvonne Strahovski. One of the nice things about Comic-Con is that the energy here is so amazing that it can actually raise the dead. Please welcome, I miss this lady so much, Maria LaGuerta from the show Lauren Ballard. It's been too long since we saw this last gentleman. Sergeant James Dokes, Mr. Eric King. The woman who did for bathtubs what Janet Leigh in Psycho did for showers, Rita Bennett Morgan, Julie Ben. Next lovely actress is having a particularly hard time this season, in my opinion. She plays Deborah Morgan. Please say hello to Jennifer Carpenter. And yes, this table does look like the Last Supper, and we are missing someone right there in the middle. Executive producer of Dexter, star of Dexter, the captain of the Slice of Life, Dexter Morgan, Michael C. Hall. We will be taking your questions for everybody, so if you have anybody has questions, you know where to line up. But let me kick things off, Sarah, by asking you, as sort of the steward of this ship for 8 years, how does it feel having taken the early steps from the book all the way through to, you guys just wrapped last week, right? You shot your last episode last week?
It's, I don't think it's a feeling that any of us have really processed yet, because it has been such a tight group. It's been 8 years of everyone's life, and I don't think it's hit any of us that it's over. Come August, I think there will be a big emotional blowback for us, but right now we're still sort of frozen.
And Scott, let's talk a little bit about the writing on Dexter, because I think that has always been its strongest suit. An amazing staff of writers. For 8 years, they've just been giving and giving and giving. Talk a little bit about your writing staff, if you would.
It's a pretty diverse writing staff. Some of the people have been there from the very beginning, and a few have joined later on. It's also unusual, I would say, among most television writing staffs that it is 50% women, which you don't see a lot of. But I think that's been just part of the key to the success, is that it's just people from all different walks of life. It's a very diverse group.
Desmond, I have to ask you, being this is your first Comic-Con, thoughts, impressions?
Wow.
It's very impressive. Thank you all so much for. I honestly can't get the scope of the thing yet, and it's amazing. I mean, you guys are great. Thank you.
Well, we've got a lot of questions for everybody up here. There is one other cast member who wanted to attend tonight, but just could not make it. So he sent us his best wishes via videotape. The Trinity Killer wanted to be here. Unfortunately, John Lithgow couldn't make it. However, he did send along a little message, so I thought I'd share that with everybody right now. Well, Michael, you're on. Could you please tell us all how Dexter ends this season?
Okay, this is just between us.
All right.
I'm not telling you how it ends.
Jennifer, this has been, for me, hard to watch what you're going through this season. What's it like as an actress, what your character has become?
It makes my life look really good. You know, it's interesting in the last season to sort of, I feel like a stunt car driver, you know, just when you think you know how Deborah drives, you just, I don't know how to drive stunts, so I can't really make this, make this work, but you know what I mean, right? It's been scary and complicated, and I really appreciate the challenge. I love that I get scripts and don't know what the hell to do with them. Or used to get scripts.
Yeah, you guys just wrapped things up last week. Has it sunk in for any of you yet that it's over, or does this feel like another hiatus and you feel like you're going to go back to work in a little while?
I think there's probably, our conscious minds are aware that it's over. In as much as it is for some of us, there are people involved in the post-production process who still have work to do. But there's probably, like, our bodies 5 months from now will start knocking at the door, wondering why we're not doing Dexter again. You know, I think there's probably some unconscious part of us that hasn't quite accepted it yet, or even recognized it yet. So I would say 5 or 6 months from now, there'll be some wave of something that we'll all experience.
Julie, you're such a big part of the Dexter legend, even though you're not there physically any longer. It must be hard, even though you've been gone for a little while, to see things come to an end.
Oh, yes. I mean, such a great show, and such an honor for me to have been a part of it for the 4 years that I was on it. And I think it's sad. I mean, it's ending on a high note, and that's what you want in television. But it's hard, it's sad. It's sad to see it go.
David, what has your reaction been with the fans? I mean, we talked about a little bit in the opening piece how dedicated the fans are, how crazed they are for this show. What's your interaction been like with the fans?
Well, I mean, the fans are everything. I mean, every time somebody comes up to me and they're so invested in the character, you know, from season 1 to now, and so many questions and so many you know, suggestions that they have. I think it's interesting listening to them, knowing, you know, hey, that's a good idea. But it's been great. I feel like whenever somebody comes up, and it feels like home when somebody comes up to me, they recognize me, and you know, they're so just complimentary on the show and of the character, and it's really a humbling experience.
Eric, judging from the reaction here tonight, you must still have people coming up to you and talking about Sergeant Dokes too, right?
All the time. And I'm blown away by the fact that I was on the show for 2 years, and it feels like I've been living with the show since then, you know? I don't think I'm dead. It's not over, so anything can happen, right?
That's right, yeah.
It's been a joy. It's been a joy. I'm really proud of it. I'm proud of the work, I'm proud of the show, and I'm proud to be here with the cast members.
And Lauren, I mentioned that many of us miss you from the show. You must miss being there too, huh?
I'm sorry, I can't hear what you said.
I said, we talked earlier how we miss you now over there on Dexter. It must be hard to be gone from all your friends and coworkers.
It is, but oddly enough, it feels like I just saw everybody, which, I mean, it's happened so fast. So I kind of feel like we picked up where we left off, except like Dokes, I'm dead. So
Are we dead?
Yeah.
We're not dead.
But it's amazing to truly be here, because this is my first time at Comic-Con, and to see this is crazy. It's so awesome. And I want to say thank you, because I haven't had a chance to say thank you to the fans for watching and making this incredible thing happen, because without you it doesn't happen. And so thank you for going on this ride with this team.
One of the strengths of the show is that although we certainly lose characters, other characters get a chance to grow and expand over the years. And Amy, your character has really come into her own the past couple seasons. It must have been fun for you.
Yeah, I mean, I still sometimes feel like the new kid on the block, and having come onto a show that was such a critical and commercial success for 5 years, you never know how it's going to be, but everyone was so gracious and awesome, and I think that starting with Michael and Jennifer and Scott and Sarah, they really set a tone to do good work and be creative, so I instantly walked into Family with David, and I'm just so honored to be given the chance to kind of explore Jamie's various naked sides.
Desmond, is it hard as an actor to jump on a train that's already moving when you come onto a show and they've already been going pretty strong for a couple of years?
Talking about sex?
No, acting.
Yeah, it was. How you doing? It was a little bit hard to get with it. Like Michael's work ethic is unbelievable. Like this dude just, you don't need to clap for it. He just shows up and does his job. Like everybody should. He does an amazing job, but he's on time, knows his lines. And for me, when I first came in, I came from a little looser environment, and I got the call like, straighten up, or you'll be out of work. So yeah, it was hard that way for a second because I was really nervous, and then it honestly, it just became like a family. I love these people more than, they are my family, and it became a joy to be a part of it. So thanks.
You big softy.
I am.
Yeah. And Yvonne, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we're going to see a little bit more of Hannah McKay this season, if I'm not mistaken. Can we talk about that at all?
No.
Oh, God. Last time we had you out here, you couldn't say anything about Hannah.
I know, I still can't say anything, so.
What are they going to do, fire you? The show's over. Go nuts. Start spilling secrets.
What can I say? I don't know. I mean, this position always where I can't say anything. I'm coming back. We don't know when, and we don't know if her revenge is going to be, if her motivation is going to be. I didn't give anything away. Hang on, come on now.
Simple mistake anybody could make.
I'm blushing now. What I meant to say was, who knows if if her motivation is going to be for revenge or love, or it's like a mystery. I'm just going to hide.
All right, I know you guys have a ton of questions for these people, so let's get right to it. We lined up over there? Is that where we are? There we are. There's the microphone. Hi there, what's your question? Oh, can we turn her mic?
Mic's not working.
Scream really loud.
There we go.
My question is for Michael, and I'm just wondering, over the last 8 years, your character is obviously very complex, and I'm wondering if you've developed any rituals on how to get into character.
I think I really need to focus on some rituals to get out of character at this point. I don't know, originally, if it were a kill scene or something like that, I mean, putting on, it was just so perfectly modeled by this woman in the first row, putting on the kill suit is a good ritual. But, it becomes an environment where everybody's focused on creating the world, doing whatever job it is they're doing. So everyone is sort of helping you get into it, or get into character, or whatever it is. So I think more than anything, that came to be the thing that would get me into it. Originally, sometimes I would hang around where we were putting together the kill rooms and make suggestions about where things might go. And if I didn't at least imagine that I had made all the decisions and had somehow managed to put all that plastic up. But I don't know. I think after a certain point, it becomes just second nature. And like I said, I just gotta figure out how to stop.
Another great part of the show this season has been, although it's the end, we sort of go back to the beginning and we meet Dr. Vogel and sort of the creation of Harry's Code and the birth of Dexter as we know him. Can you talk, Michael, just really briefly about the amazing Charlotte Rampling and Dr. Vogel as a character? Just great stuff this year. Amazing.
Well, Dr. Vogel is someone who really reframes the entire origin story for Dexter. Not only are we exploring sort of very unique mother-son-esque dynamic, but Dexter is also re-examining his relationship with his internalized father, who he thought came up with it all his own. And he realizes that Harry himself was parented in a way. And Charlotte Rampling is, I mean, she's an icon of world cinema. And it's nice as an actor if your assignment is to be mesmerized by someone, to be standing across from someone who is so inherently mesmerizing. I mean, it was easy. Just look at her.
Sarah, how did you land Charlotte Rampling for the role? How did that come to pass?
It was one of those lucky things when we conceived Dr. Vogel and we sort of went through all of the aspects that she had to have. She had to be intelligent, aloof, maternal, seductive, a woman of a certain age. Truly, the first name that came to us was Charlotte Rampling, and we said, let's just take a chance. And it was one of those lucky things that in life. She was our first choice. She said yes, and it was just kismet. It was great.
She's been great on the show this year. How about your question, sir?
Yeah. First, Ralph, I love you.
Thank you.
And this is just kind of an open-ended question. One of the things I liked most about Dexter is that there's a lot of tension and there's just so much good drama. Can you talk about how, either through writing or through the acting, how you guys build all the tension and just make it so good?
Manny, why don't you handle that one?
Really?
Yeah.
Please, dude.
We haven't heard from you.
Start serving coffee to my fellow actors over here. That's a really hard question to answer. I will say that the approach to Dexter has always been character-based, and you know, all the drama, all the tension comes from these characters, these magnificent characters, and you know, when you have a story about a serial killer who is, you know, killing, you know, other bad killers, the drama almost inherently flows around it. But the big point is it's all, you know, getting inside these characters' heads and coming up with what they would do.
And Clyde, a big part of that, in my opinion, also is the photography and the editing and the sound. You guys build the tension physically with the production values of the show as well, I think.
Well, the production values are really important, and I want to give a shout out to the man who's produced the show for the entire 8 years, Robert Lewis, who's on. One other part of the tension as well is the music, done by Dan Licht, who did all 8 seasons as well. It's just beautiful music. It comes from, as Manny was saying, the production values come after the acting, after the writing. When we get the privilege of being able to, who's more secret than a serial killer? And we get to peek into Dexter's mind, partly by virtue of the voiceover, which adds humor and tension to everything we're doing. And Dexter, I don't know if people here know, was voted one of the 101 best written shows by the Writers Guild and Variety in the history of television. So that's a tribute to the wonderful cast and the wonderful cast of writers that we've had over the years as well.
Hi there, what's your question?
Hi, sorry. I was just let me say, I don't have to keep this short, but I love you guys. I've been obsessed with the show. I have so many butterflies in my stomach. Oh my gosh, sorry. Okay, anyway. You guys have been to Comic-Con for a few years now. Is there anything else you like to see? Like, did you have any interest before you came for Dexter?
We love you, sweetheart. Thank you.
I'm sorry, I didn't quite get that question. Do they have any interests other than being in Dexter? Is that what you said?
Yeah, if they like any Marvel or DC or anything else here?
Oh, I see. Are you guys geeks, fans at all of comic books, science fiction, any of that kind of stuff?
Yeah. I like the Japanese animation wing and the chess tent. I don't know if it's still there, but I'm a Japanese animation girl.
Any other geeks or nerds on the panel?
I was always a really big Incredible Hulk fan. And, I mean, the comic books, the television series even, and in a way I felt like Dexter was a chance for me to play my own version of the Incredible Hulk. So that was pretty cool. He's not as green or big.
Hi there, what's your question?
Yes, some of the scenes in the show are obviously very intense. I was just wondering how some of the cast members diffuse, like Michael said earlier, after the scenes.
How do you relax after shooting a scene as intense as sometimes you guys have to? This could be open to all the actors. Is it as intense for you guys to perform as it is to watch?
Yeah.
Take it down.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes like if we have a foot, we'll play a little football with it. That's true. Yeah, that's true. Just a little bit, a little touch football with it. No, but I think that if it is intense, but if you're in your character and this is what you do for a living, throughout the seasons, you kind of get into it, and you kind of get used to it like a professional police officer would, and so you look at it at a crime scene, if you see some dismembered bodies, or you see some guts coming out, I mean, it's just another opportunity to get Dexter over there to check the blood out, make sure we try to catch the killer. So, I mean, I think that eventually you get used to it just like a real cop would.
And Lauren, is there extra pressure when you read in the script that you're going to die? And you know that this is going to be your final scene in Dexter, this is your last shot. Is there extra pressure when you're performing to really bring it in those moments?
Yes and no, because actually it's more, you want to do your best. You actually just want to honor the character. At least that's what I wanted to do. And the writing for that final episode was so intense and so beautiful. It was such a gorgeous opus, and I got to have incredible scenes with Michael and Jennifer and David, and it was really so beautifully rounded. I couldn't wait to do it. And I just kept walking around. I wanted to stay in the zone. I was like, don't talk to me, don't look at me, I'm in the zone. And I wanted to live it. I wanted to taste it. I just wanted to just be in it as much as I could because I knew it wasn't gonna last. So it wasn't hard. It was hard knowing it was gonna be the last one, but it wasn't hard doing the work. I loved doing the work.
Eric, was that your experience with it?
Absolutely. And when you get the pages and you know what's going to happen to the character, you know that you're going to dig in. And I just want to say this publicly in front of everybody. Michael C. Hall, thank you. Thank you. When you have someone like Michael who shows up fully with his heart and his craft, you want to do the best work you can do. So those scenes in the cabin, amazing. And largely due to Michael, so thank you.
Thanks for saying that.
Hi, what's your question?
Yes. Sorry. Well, my question, it's very open-ended, mostly because one of the things I love about Dexter is the question of morality that it builds. You're always rooting for Dexter to get his man, but the problem is that he's a serial killer in itself. It's just frustrating, but it's what's so fantastic. So, the question is, when you're playing your character, do you always feel like you want to root Dexter on, or you just want him to get caught?
Jennifer, your character deals a lot with morality, what's right and wrong, and she's had this very clear vision of her world that gets shattered because of that. Does that bring up questions about morality in yourself when you're dealing with it in the work?
It's a complicated question because it's a little like talking about a family member. Do you know what I mean? It's someone you're going to see again and again. I don't really know how to answer it. Even just considering all the things that you all have asked up to this point, it's like you're reminding me of a horrible car accident that I watched. You know what I mean? I have a really visceral reaction to everything and everybody here. You know, like you talk about what it's like to get in and out of a scene. Like I'm a live wire until someone says we've got it, and then I recover on the way home. You know, for the most part, like I've always wanted to defend him because it was in a weird way protecting my life. And then there are moments when I really want to kill him. So it's about just showing up every day and seeing where she is.
That's great.
I've always been on Dexter's side myself.
Hi there, what's your question?
Babylon, Ralph. Babylon.
Thanks.
So me and my girlfriend Monica came down from Minnesota, and this is like her thing. She's just too embarrassed to come ask the question. So Jennifer Carpenter, she'd like your name tint.
Done. Have it.
That's really more of a request.
Yeah, it's a request more than a question. We'll get that to you. Hi there, what's your question?
A plane out of it.
I'm not going to ask for anything, so you don't have to.
Thank you.
So, question for Yvonne, actually. I wonder if you've imagined a creative way in having Commander Shepard, Casey, and Chuck assist you in taking down Dexter over the course of the season coming up.
If I've imagined taking him down? In that
As
fashion?
other characters.
Yes, as characters from Chuck.
No.
Yeah. Because if you did, you'd be a mental case, and so that wouldn't be good. But speaking of previous TV series, Michael, this is your second big success on television. After 6 Feet Under, you said, you probably thought, well, that was a big phenomenon, and I'll move on to something maybe that will get less intense.
Right.
That was wrong.
Right.
You moved on to something more intense. What are your feelings about television now versus like film or theater or something like that? Is a series something you'd be willing to jump into again after 8 years?
I learned after 6 Feet Under, when I originally thought I wouldn't do another TV show, to never say never. So I don't know, maybe. And as far as television goes, I mean, I've been fortunate enough to have gotten on the TV train at a time that coincided with a real renaissance, or I don't even know if it's a renaissance. It's not like it's unprecedented as far as TV goes. I didn't know there were jobs where an actor could, over the course of several seasons, develop a character and evolve in ways that shows allow actors to do now. So I feel really, really lucky to have been able to do that.
That's great. Yes, sir.
Yes, this question is for the panel. A recurring theme throughout the series has been the way that psychopaths are wired differently, and that they don't process feeling the way that you or I do. It's an act. Or at least not feeling the way that we would understand it. And a lot of Dexter's interior monologue is talking about how, you know, I don't feel feelings, I don't feel emotions, I don't feel loved. And he acts in ways that contradict that. So I was just wondering, do you think that he's an unreliable narrator and he may not be very aware? Or do you think he was telling the truth at the beginning and slowly he's becoming the mask?
Wow, good question.
I mean, I feel like your question articulated the answer pretty well, to be honest. I think when we meet Dexter, he believes what he's telling us. But I always was interested in the notion that his voiceover is maybe not the bottom line in terms of what he believes or what's actually motivating him. I think we're meant to be suspicious about his claim that he's a pure 100% psychopath. And I think over the course of the show, as we see the things he's built up for himself crumble and realize that, as he does, that he has a connection to those things beyond the pragmatic, that the lines get blurred. But I'm basically just saying less articulately what you already did.
But I think interestingly, Dr. Vogel posed the question this season, are they genuine feelings or is it just self-interest? Are you protecting yourself by allowing yourself to believe that those are feelings.
Yeah. She tells Dexter that even when he is claiming to feel things or feel connections, it's only out of a sense of self-preservation or pragmatism or narcissism.
But she learns.
But yeah, it's a two-way street in terms of who's teaching who regarding Vogel and Dexter.
Thank you for your question. What's your question?
Hi, my question is for Jennifer. Can I have your name tag?
Stop it! Stop that!
Okay, so you said in an interview that the only way you could detach yourself from Deb was if she met her demise. Do you still feel that way without giving anything away for the ending, or...
Sneaky, I like you. You're good. I like that.
Stuck with Deb.
Without giving anything away, does Deb die?
No, I'm gonna treat it like you're asking me if I want her or wanted her to die. That I meant what I said. I wanted her and want her to die. As an actor, it doesn't mean that, it's because I love her. It's a little like how Michael treats his victims. That's how I just want her to go to the bottom of the abyss where all of her secrets lie and be there instead of in my head for 8 years after the show, and me going, what would have happened if, and calling Scott in the middle of the night and saying, would you write me a scene where she's like, okay now, happy in love?
That's why it was so nice at the end of, I'm not trying to plug 6 Feet Under, but at the end of 6 Feet Under, we all got to die.
Yeah.
And I think as actors, that's nice. You can put it to bed that way. I'm watching you walk, I see you.
Julie, did that help you let go of Rita when you knew that she was going to die, that you could release that part and leave it behind?
Yes and no. I think for me, because it was so sudden, I've died on many shows before, but as most of you know, they were all like supernatural shows, so I always came back to life. So this was the first character where, she died, dead.
Without the possibility of resurrection.
Like, you can't raise me from the dead in a box and there I'm back, gone. So I think because it was so sudden, I actually had to go through a mourning process of losing Rita, and it was just, it was weird. I was mourning somebody I knew really well, and I was very sad for a very long time because of the loss of Rita. It was interesting. It wasn't, I think for me it was because it was so sudden and I wasn't prepared for it, that it really affected me on a deep level. And she just seemed so innocent.
Yeah. Hi there, what's your question?
My question is, because Dexter Staple is really hold on, I'm nervous. But yeah, its staple is really the shock value and just all the surprises. So I was wondering, how far ahead do the actors actually know when the surprises are coming?
That's a good question.
Well, I can answer that question.
Eric, were you surprised?
Unemployment line. So I can say that. The producers were amazing, brought me in well into the season that I was going to die, so I knew I was going to die. And, sad to see Dokes go, but the reality is that he couldn't have maintained the integrity of who he was if that didn't happen. We couldn't go 8 years going, I'm watching you, and eventually Dexter says, who cares, right? I'm watching you too, right? So I knew well in advance, it gave me a chance to prepare, it gave me a chance to dig in and try to do the best work I could do. So that was my experience.
But may I say something?
Sure.
Deciding, once we would pitch out a year and it became inevitable that in order to make the Dexter story work, because all of the people who died, he bears the weight and it's a lesson that he adds to his being. But those are the hardest decisions I've ever been part of, and I think all the other producers on the show can, how agonizing it is. It is like a death in the family, and you strive to think of, there must be another way Dexter could learn this lesson without Rita dying, or without Dukes dying, or without Roberta dying. But it becomes inevitable. But it is the hardest thing we've ever been through. Very emotional for us.
Lauren, how far in advance did you know that Maria was going to be going?
I think it was about episode 10, but once she was promoted to captain, I thought, I don't know what's gonna happen. I really thought, I think this is the beginning of the end, really. So I wasn't surprised, but I wasn't prepared for how I was gonna feel about it at all. And I couldn't even think about it until months after. Really, because like Julie was saying, it becomes a part of you. You really take it on, and this person you create lives with you, and it's inside of you. That sounds really crazy, but that's what it is. And so when it's like losing somebody very suddenly, you don't have enough time. It's a loss. You don't have time to prepare, and you sort of. And for me, I came here to do the show, so then I had to move, my whole life back to New York. So it was a really huge shift for me that came about very suddenly. And which, in some ways made the work much, much richer. And the experience much richer, honestly.
Desmond, speaking about living with a character, Quinn is a bit of a mess.
Yeah.
He's got a drinking problem. Has...
Bring it on.
Difficulty with relationships, let's say.
Yep.
Doesn't always get along with his own partners, with his other members of the police force.
This is my life. Go ahead.
How much of that plays into your own psyche when you have to live with that day in and day out on set?
Yeah, it's not fun to. It's weird because Dexter is a serial killer, but like Quinn at times can be a scumbag, and that's that is it is hard to play something that people are going to be like, ugh, Oh no, I'm a sweetheart. I'll give it to you. The guy wears his heart on his sleeve. I shot a guy for slapping a lady last year, and I gave Batista 10,000 open poppers, and I think he's a good guy. But it's tough. He's a corrupt guy, but he has his own little code of stuff that he will and will not do.
Dwight had the good sense to love Deb.
He loves Deb.
Yeah, he does. Which usually is a death sentence, Deb does not have a great track record with ex-boyfriends. They usually end up on a slab somewhere.
Yeah, but Quinn's lived this long. Honestly, did you people think I was gonna live for more than a year?
I did.
I'm still here.
I actually said it here before that being Deb's boyfriend is kind of like wearing one of the red shirts on Star Trek. The minute that happens, don't get too attached to that guy. So I'm surprised you're still here, quite frankly. I'm glad, though.
Thank you.
Yes. Next question.
Hi, my question is for Michael. So Dexter has a pretty interesting take on how he handles stress. So I'm wondering if you could share some things that you do to handle stress and how you handle yourself in high pressure situations.
I do everything that Dexter does, but then I just tickle the person. I don't know. Honestly, pretending to be Dexter has been a stress reliever in its way. So I don't know what I'm going to do now. Exercising is good. Anything that gets your heart beating.
Sure. PG-13. PG-13.
Right.
Hi there, what's your question?
Okay. A couple seasons ago, you guys kind of hinted at that Deb and Dexter were actual siblings or half-siblings, and I'm wondering if that question will ever be answered.
They've never been half-siblings. Dexter's always been the foster brother.
Was looking up information about her father, and there was a hint in there a couple seasons ago about how his father and her father and his mother had a relationship, so I was just wondering.
But the timing would never have been. It wouldn't have worked that way.
So they're not actually brother and sister, which doesn't make that love thing any less creepy, by the way. Your question, please.
Hi, my question is for Michael. What piece of the set will you be taking with you on the last day, and can
Good question. It's all over. You guys are done. You're done shooting. Did people take souvenirs? Did you guys walk off with it?
People did. I'm going to take Dexter's watch, just because I always had it on, and it's as sort of much a part of my day-to-day as anything was. And his little lanyard with his ID, though there are all kinds of, very realistic-looking facsimiles of those being manufactured now, but I have the original. And there's some blood spatter images in Dexter's lab that I kind of liked, that I was going to take, and when I went on the last day, they'd been swiped.
And Jen's got them up on eBay.
Yeah, I also got a 9-foot portion of the railing outside of Dexter's apartment. I'm gonna put it in my backyard. I'm serious.
Amy, how about you? Did you take anything from the set?
I did. I took Jamie's necklace, which I thought was very reminiscent of Batista's wardrobe, so I just kind of wanted to keep a little trinket. Don't tell wardrobe.
All right, we won't.
It was definitely stolen, but...
I thought maybe that laundry basket you're always carrying, I thought maybe that would be it. You always seem to be doing laundry, a lot of laundry.
She is. She knows that, he's a neat monster.
Desmond, did you take anything?
Yeah, I took all the gold that I wear.
That's a felony. That's a felony, Desmond.
No, it's not real. But yeah, it's the most identifiable thing with him. So,
Yvonne, anything? To swipe anything?
I took the black orchid.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Jennifer, besides stealing things that Michael wanted, did you take anything?
I took a lot. I took a lot. It was fun.
Give us a for instance.
I went in there with her and she bagged stuff. Like, it was crazy.
I took a lot.
Go to our website, it'll all be available for purchase soon. No, not really.
David, how about you? You got anything?
But I had to give them my gold tee to get that.
Life's a compromise.
What are you gonna do?
Hi there, what's your question?
Hey everybody. My question is, in the past couple seasons, there's been a few subtle and not so subtle hints with Dexter's son, including a scene where he eats some popsicles and gets a little filled. Are we ever gonna see Harrison's spinoff?
Yeah, in 25 years, there's going to be a new series called Harrison, and Dexter will have died, and I'm going to be his dead, internalized father.
There are people at Showtime furiously writing down that idea right now. All right, they're telling me we're going to wrap it up, and we have 5 minutes left, and so I didn't want to rush this part. What I'd like to do is go down the line with everybody. This is the last chance you guys are going to have to do this. I thought maybe you just want to take a couple seconds and express your thoughts to the Comic-Con audience before we say goodbye for the last time. So Sarah, if you would kick us off, perhaps just thoughts about the show, about saying goodbye, about what Comic-Con has meant over the past few years.
Now I'm going to get all weepy. It's It's been an amazing experience. I couldn't have imagined 9 years ago when I read a book that I would ever be sitting here with this team and we would be this family that will be close to me for all my life. And the fans have supported us and carried us through these 8 years. And we all feel a real direct connection to you. So thank you so much.
Scott, final thoughts?
As writers, we work very much in sort of a self-imposed vacuum because we spend all day, day after day after day, in a writer's room, just the 10 of us. And sometimes it's really nice to be reminded who we're doing this for and that people appreciate it. So thank you very much.
Manny, your final thoughts about saying goodbye?
Well, I just want to say thank you. I've worked on numerous shows, and I just want to say the cast, the actors on this show, from Michael on down, are not only talented, but they're the sweetest, nicest, most wonderful people I've ever worked with as a writer. Just the most generous, wonderful group, and as great as they look on stage, they really are great people. And I want to thank them all for just a wonderful many years on Dexter.
Thank you.
Clyde, your thoughts working on Dexter?
While I was showing pictures backstage, that my daughter was 8 years old when I started the show, and she's now 16. And just the passage of time has been remarkable and humbling to be part of this. I remember the first time we came to Comic-Con, Sarah, you remember, and Michael, we were in this little room. And now we're in the room that Iron Man gets and that Dark Knight Rises gets. And it's just extraordinary. And thank you, everybody.
Amy?
Well, this is actually my first Comic-Con panel, so I called David and I said, you know, what should I expect? And he said, just take it in and never forget it. And so I want you guys to know that my heart is racing so fast right now, and I'm looking at all of you guys, and your enthusiasm is so contagious, and I will never, ever, ever forget this for as long as I live, and I want to thank you for that gift.
Desmond, parting thoughts?
Yeah, honestly, I thank you all. And look, the deal is, if you guys don't watch the show's not on the air. So you watch the show. Thank you very much.
David?
Well, you know, one of the reasons why I became an actor is because I'm so attracted to camaraderie. And everybody on this panel, everybody on the crew, everybody that worked on this show, we've created such a special bond that I will never, ever forget. But what I learned about this show is that camaraderie extended to you amazing fans. And whenever I speak to any one of you out there about this show, it feels like, you know, a camaraderie that's very special. And that bond is just as strong. So I thank you from the bottom of my heart for being such great fans and supporting us throughout these 8 years. Thank you so much.
Yvonne?
Well, first of all, I still sort of feel like the baby of the group, and I feel really, really, really blessed to be a part of this group, and I want to thank everyone for welcoming me into this show, both all of you guys out there and all of you guys sitting at this panel, and I'm extremely inspired by this extraordinary cast, and I've had the pleasure of working especially with both Jennifer and Michael. You guys blow me away every single day. You have been my inspiration every day of working on this show. Thank you guys as well.
Lauren, your thoughts?
I just think it's really extraordinary to end this whole cycle here. And thanks. Thank you.
Eric.
At 2 years on the show, you guys have kept me alive for the last 6 years. Sincerely. Whether I'm in the Costco or on an escalator, you always remind me and you always want me to say the thing that I can't say. I won't say it, right? But just want to tell you, aside from the, I can't say it. Anyway, surprise them. I just want to say, you know, the opportunity to work with these actors and these producers and to have this experience has been amazing, but to just walk out and be embraced by you guys is the icing on the cake. I appreciate you so much. Thank you.
Julie?
Wow, like Clyde, I remember coming here when we were in just some tiny room somewhere tucked away, and to be here today and see how you guys have just grown so much is just tremendous. And to be a part of a show where the fans are as passionate about it as we are making it, nothing beats that as an actor. So thank you.
Jennifer?
Well, I think we spent a lot of time with this show making what is artificial feel real, artificial characters, artificial scenarios, and certainly that our relationships with each other are authentic. But the most authentic thing about this show is our relationship to you. You're the reason we show up every day. We want to do right by you because your standards are high and you deserve good work. So it can't be a wrap until we're all here together. Like, especially the people that waited to be in this room. Like, it's a wrap with you all now.
You know, Dexter came out at a time that coincided with Comic-Con being a place that attracted more than just strictly comic book fans, but fans of shows like Dexter, and we wouldn't be here now if it weren't for that fact. And just as you all waited in line and are here for us, we have been here for you, and we are here because of you, and we all thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in thanking for 8 wonderful years the creators and cast of Dexter.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again, let's hear it for the cast and creative team of Showtime's Dexter. And our special guest moderator, Mr. Ralph Garman. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we would ask that as you exit through the Hall H exit doors, that you please deposit your 3D glasses in the 3D glass recyclable container.